Hello dear students, I am Vijay Krishna. I am welcoming you to Pass Academy Soro to a new session. Today we are going to read our new chapter. So before we start our class, dear students, I want to tell you, if you want to join our Pass Academy, please you can scan and join our Pass Academy through this Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook as well as Telegram. So you can scan and you can join our channel. So dear students, today we are going to read our new chapter, conditional. We are going to read conditional sentence. So dear students, as we know, conditional is very important for every competitive exam. So we are going to read our new chapter, that is conditional sentence. So dear students, what is conditional? What is a conditional sentence? Condition, what did we understood? What is, if we are talking about condition? Condition means a certain agreement. So dear students, conditional. What is the definition of conditional? A conditional sentence expresses a relationship where one thing depends on another. It typically includes a condition, often using if and a result. The result will only happen if the condition is met. Dear students, try to understand the definition. A conditional sentence expresses a relationship where one thing depends on another. In a very simple way, conditional is a kind of sentence where one part of the sentence is dependent on the other part of the sentence. Suppose I will tell you, let me give you an example, dear students. If you come, I will teach you. I will teach you. Look at the sentence, dear student. If you come, here this sentence, this part of the sentence is dependent on the other part of the sentence. If you will not come, I will not teach you. If you will come, I will teach you. It means one part of the sentence is dependent on the other part of the sentence. So our definition, conditional sentence expresses a relationship where one thing depends on another. It's a relationship where one thing is dependent on another thing. It typically includes a condition, often using if. So this condition we will get by the using of if and a result, and we will get also another result clause. The result will only happen if the condition is met. We will get the result if our condition is fulfilled. If our condition is not fulfilled, we will not get any result. So now, dear students, before we read conditional clause, we have to know what is a clause. What is a clause? So the definition of clause: such a group of words which from a sentence it has a subject and predicate and also express complete meaning is known as a clause. So what is clause, dear students? So clause, what is clause, dear students? Such a group of words, which from a sentence, it means it's a group of words and it's a part of a sentence. It's from a sentence. Such a group of words which from a sentence it has a subject and predicate and also express complete meaning is known as a clause. Let me give you an example, dear students. It will be easy to understand. I think that you have made a mistake. Look at the sentence, dear students. Here you have made a mistake. This one known as a clause. It is a part of a sentence. I think that you have made a mistake. It's a complete sentence. And you have made a mistake is a part of the sentence. Here you is the subject and have made a mistake is the predicate and it makes complete sense, so it is known as a clause. So kinds of clause. Now we are going to read kinds of clause. How many types of clause there? There are two types of clause, dear students. One is main or independent clause. What is independent or a main clause? A clause which didn't need any support. It can express the meaning independently, so it is known as main or independent clause. Second one, that is dependent or subordinate clause. A sentence or a clause which needs some support to express the complete meaning, that is known as dependent or subordinate clause, dear students. I hope you understand what is clause and the kinds of clause. Dear students, now we are going to read the kinds of conditional. Conditional are divided into how many types and what are the function of conditional. Okay, so in our conditional type of sentence, we will get normally four types of conditionals. First one is zero type or factual conditional. It is also known as factual conditional. Okay, zero type conditional, where there is no condition. Okay, that is zero type conditional. Number two, dear students, that is type 1 conditional. It is also known as open conditional. It is also known as open conditional. Number 3, that is type 2 conditional, or it is also known as closed conditional. And final one, dear students, that is type 3 conditional, or it is also known as hypothetical conditional. Okay, so what is hypothetical conditional, dear students? Where we thought certain imaginary thing, unreal thing, which is not possible in real life, that kind of conditional is known as hypothetical conditional, and we knew it the third type of conditional. Okay, so now we will read one by one thoroughly, dear students. We will first read zero type conditional, or which is known as factual conditional, which represents a fact like scientific truth, general fact. That kind of conditional is known as factual conditional. Now what is zero type condition? Zero type conditional sentence. A zero type or factual conditional, dear student. A zero type conditional sentence expresses a general truth. What did it express? It expressed a general truth, meaning the result always follows the condition, and the result always follows the condition. It uses the present simple tense in both the if clause and the main clause. Okay, so in every conditional we will get two clause. We will get two clause, dear student. One is if clause, another one is main clause. Okay, if clause where there is a condition, and the result clause, this one main clause. Okay, so now come to the structure: general truth and scientific truth. What it will represent? General truth or scientific truth. Okay, so zero type or factual conditional, it will represent general truth and scientific truth. Okay, so we will get one if clause, another one that is main clause. So if clause, our if clause, dear student, if clause present simple, and the structure will be present simple in if clause, and also result clause also, or main clause also present simple. So what is the structure of present simple, dear students? That is subject plus V1 or V5 plus object. Similarly, present simple in main clause, so the structure will be same: subject plus V1 or V5 plus object, dear students. So now come to the example, dear students. Certain examples here. If you drop the glass, it breaks. Look at the example. If you drop the glass, this one if clause. If you drop the glass, you is the subject, drop is the verb first form. Yes or no? Drop is the verb first form, right? If you drop the glass, this one object. Glass is object, right? The glass is object, you is the subject, and drop is the first form of the verb. So if you drop the glass, this one if clause and this one result clause, it breaks. It is the third form. This one subject, dear student, and breaks. Breaks is V5 form, and this one subject plus verb fifth form. It means present simple. I mean our if clause is present simple, as well as our result clause or main clause also present simple. Now come to the second example, dear students. Our second example, if you hit the eyes, if you heat the ice, it melts. Look at the example, dear students. Here if, this one if clause, you is the subject, heat is the verb first form V1 plus the ice is the object, dear student. If you hit the ice, it means present simple, subject plus V1, this one present simple, this one present simple, dear student. Then it melts, it is the subject, this one subject plus V5. Why did we use V5? Because this one is third form, so we add s or es to the verb form, right? So our main clause also present simple. So if our if clause is present simple, the result clause or main clause also present simple. So this one known as zero type conditional, and it represents a scientific truth. Yes or no? If we heat the ice, definitely it will melt. So it's a zero type conditional, dear student. Next example, if you don't eat, you get hungry. If you don't eat, here you is the subject, dear student. Don't, and this sentence is in negative form. If you don't eat, it is the verb first form. If you don't eat, you get hungry. You is the subject, get is the V1 form, and hungry is the object. So this one also known as zero type conditional. Okay, so I hope you understood what is zero type conditional, what kind of sentence are, what kind of conditional are in zero type conditional. Next we will read second type conditional. That is type 1 conditional, which is known as open conditional. Our second type is type 1 conditional, which is also known as by the another name, that is open conditional, where the condition is open. So an open conditional sentence, also called as first conditional or type 1 condition, describes a real and possible future situation. Okay, it expresses a future possibility which is going to happen, where the condition is likely to be met. It's used to express a probable outcome of a future event or action. So first type conditional, it will represent future possibility which is going to happen, future possibility, right? So there is two clause, dear student. One is if clause, another one is main clause, and in this particular conditional we are going to read certain future possibility. There are future possibility, dear students, future possibility. So if clause present simple, and the structure will be for first type conditional, dear students, present simple, and the main clause will be future simple. the if clause will be present simple and the main clause will be future simple. So now let's have a certain examples. Examples, dear student. If it rains, look at the example. If it rains, it is the subject. Rains, V5 form. Tomorrow, object. This one verb, fifth form, and this one subject. If it rains tomorrow, we will stay inside. It means this one present simple. Present simple. And we is the subject, will stay inside. Okay, this one future simple. Future simple. Because we use here will. Yes or no? So it's a future simple tense. This one if clause is in present simple and main clause is in future simple. So it is known as first type conditional. First type conditional. Our next example, if you come, I will teach you. If you come, I will teach you. Look at the example, dear student. You is the subject, come is the verb first form. So subject plus V1, this is known as present simple. And here I is the subject, we use will, and teach is the V1 form, and you is the object. So this one future simple. Future simple. So this is known as type 1 conditional, where we will get one if clause and another, that is main clause. Okay, and our if clause is in present simple and our main clause is in future simple. So our next example, dear students, if you study hard, you will pass the exam. Look at the example. You is the V1 form, you is the subject, and study is the V1 form, hard is the object. If you study hard, this one future present simple, and you will pass the exam. You is the subject, will pass is the future form, so it is future simple. So this one known as type 1 conditional, where we will get one if clause and another one is, that is main clause, which is in future simple form. So dear student, I hope you understood type 1 conditional, where we will get one if clause which is in present simple and a main clause which is in future simple or future indefinite. Our next type conditional, that is type 2 conditional, or which is known as clause conditional, dear students. Type 2 conditional, which is known as clause conditional. In this type of conditional, we will read a high possibility of past situation, but it's in unfulfilled. We are going to read high possibility of the past situation, but it is unfulfilled or incomplete. A clause conditional sentence, also known as a second conditional sentence or type 2 conditional, expresses a high possibility of past situation, but it's unfulfilled. So now we will get if clause and main clause, and in this type of conditional, if clause is in past perfect and our main clause is in future past perfect tense. So dear students, now you think what is future past perfect tense? We already knew that is future perfect tense, future perfect continuous tense, but what is future past perfect tense, dear students? So now come to the structure. Our past perfect tense, that is subject plus head plus V3 plus object. This one the structure of future past, the structure of past perfect tense. But if you are talking about future past perfect tense, the structure of future past perfect tense, that is subject plus would plus have plus V3 plus object, dear student. This is known as future past perfect tense. So the past form of will, shall, the past of will, that is would, or shall will be should. So when these form are used in future tense, so this is known as future past perfect tense. Okay, so let's have a certain example that we will understand what is the second type conditional, which is known as clause conditional. So our first example, if I had studied harder, if I studied harder. So here I is the subject, had is used for perfect tense, and studied, third form of the verb. Okay, and harder. If I had studied harder, so this one subject plus had plus V3, it means past perfect tense, and I would have passed the exam. I is the subject, we use would here, and have plus V3 of the verb form, and this one the object. So here our main clause is in future past perfect tense. So this is known as second type conditional, which is known as closed conditional. Okay, our next example, dear students, if she had taken the medication, if she had taken the medication, right? She is the subject, had is used for perfect tense, and taken is the V3 form, the medication is the object. So this one past perfect. What is the structure of past perfect, dear students? That is subject plus had plus V3 plus object, that is known as past perfect tense. As well as our main clause will be future past perfect tense. So she is the subject, we use would plus have plus third form of the main verb, so it is known as future past perfect tense. So dear student, I hope you understand type 2 conditional, which is known as clause conditional. We will get two clause in this type of conditional. If clause will be past perfect tense, and our result clause or main clause will be future past perfect tense. Our next type of conditional, that is third type conditional, which is known as hypothetical conditional. What is hypothetical conditional? In which sentence or in which clause we are going to discussing about we are going to discussing about certain unreal thing, unreal or imaginary, fantasy, which is not possible in our real life. So that kind of sentence or that kind of conditional is known as hypothetical conditional, or it is known as also third type conditional. So what is a hypothetical conditional, dear students? A hypothetical conditional sentence expresses a condition. A hypothetical conditional sentence expresses a condition and its likely or possible result, but the condition is unlikely or imaginary. So what is the condition? The condition is unlikely or imaginary condition. It's a way to talk about what might happen if a situation were different from how it actually is. Okay, suppose I am going to thought, if I were a bird, if I became a bird, can a man become a bird? Yes or no? No, it's impossible, totally imaginary. Okay, so we will get if clause and main clause, dear students. Two types of clause we will get in this kind of conditional. Our first conditional, that is if clause, and the structure of if clause is simple past or indefinite. Simple past means the structure will be subject plus V2 plus object, right? Then main clause, future past tense. What is future past tense? It means subject plus would plus V1 plus object. This one known as future past tense, dear student. So let's have some example. If I were a bird, look at the sentence. I is the subject. If I were a bird. So why did we use were, dear students? Remember certain be verb. What are the be verb? Is, am, are, was, were. These are known as be verb. Yes or no? And for the simple past, we will use either was or were. Yes or no? Was is used for singular and were is used for plural. So in this kind of conditional, where hypothetical conditional is formed, we cannot use was with the subject. So which one left? Where is left. So we will use where with the hypothetical conditional with the subject. So look at the sentence, dear student. If I were a bird. If I were a bird. So we use where with the subject. If I were a bird, I would fly in the sky. I is the subject. Would is used for future past tense, and V1 fly in the sky. This one known as which kind of conditional? This one known as third type of conditional or hypothetical conditional, where unreal or imaginary thing will be discussed. I had a, if our second example, dear students, I had $1 million. If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, I would buy a yacht. This one, had is used for the past form of have. Simple past. If I had $1 million, I would buy a yacht. If I would have $1 million, I would buy a yacht. Look at the sentence, dear students. The speaker doesn't have $1 million. It's imagination, totally imagination. I doesn't have $1 million, so I cannot buy a yacht. But it's imaginary. So I thought it's an imaginary situation. So it is known as our third type conditional, that is hypothetical conditional, dear students. So these are the four kinds of conditional which we already discussed. What are the four types of conditional? First is zero type conditional, which is known as factual conditional. In factual conditional, we discussed the scientific truth, the general truth. Okay, like if you drop the glass, it will break. If you hit the ice, it melts. And our second type conditional, dear students, our second type conditional is, that is type 1 conditional, which is known as open conditional. And our third type conditional, which is known as type 2, or type 2 conditional, that is closed conditional, as well as our final and last conditional, that is hypothetical conditional, and which is known as type 3 conditional. Okay, so I hope you understood what is conditional and the structure of conditionals and the four types of conditional. So dear students, I hope you understand what is conditional and the different kinds of conditional sentence. So if you like our video and if you want to follow us or join our academy, so please do follow us on Instagram, WhatsApp and Facebook, Telegram. And if you like our video, dear students, if you like our video, do subscribe and hit the bell icon to get all notification for our future classes. Thank you very much.